Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's mukbang, I am doing a somewhat Valentine's themed video. I know Valentine's Day was yesterday, but I still kind of wanted to do a themed video. So I made another Pizookie, and I know I just did a Pizookie, but I know you guys don't care and I don't care, so it's all good. This one is my infamous red velvet Pizookie. This is my favorite Pizookie that I've ever made, and the recipe is on my channel already, so I will link it down below. And then I got a request to try Cacio E Pepe. I'm pretty sure it originated in Rome, which is really cool. And I literally looked up an authentic recipe and I tried making it and it didn't work because, you know, vegan cheeses are just not the same. So I looked up a vegan copycat recipe, which I will link down below as well, and I just copied that. So I hope it's good. And then also for today's video, I am finally doing the Mandela effect conspiracy. I have a few videos like this already on my channel, and in those videos I talk about just examples of Mandela effects. This video I will be diving into why Mandela effects would be a thing and the different theories involved with Mandela effects. So yeah, very excited for today. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to finally do this video, but let's just jump right into it. And I'm going to start with the food before I start with anything else. And can you guess what I'm going to start with? Yep. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. And then I put a layer of chocolate chips into this Pizookie as well, so there's chocolate in the center. I'm so excited. No words. So good, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just have to add this in there that everything I'm going to say in this video are all theories, they're all speculation. Okay, just a little disclaimer. I will also link down below the article I used a lot for reference in my research, just so you guys can do more extensive research on your end if you so desire. But if you haven't seen my previous videos on the Mandela effect, basically a Mandela effect is an event in which a multitude of people think a specific thing occurred when it did not. So, for example, the most well-known Mandela effect is Nelson Mandela. Many people remember him dying in prison in the 1980s, but he actually died in 2013. So that's basically where the term Mandela effect originated from. Like I said, if you're curious to know more, I have other videos where I talk about the examples of Mandela effects, and so I would recommend go watching those so you have an idea of different Mandela effects that have occurred. But yeah, so the theory goes that Mandela effects occur due to a tear in our universe, or like a rip in time, which has potentially fabricated a parallel universe in which contrasting experiences and structures bleed into our universe, and that's why people remember certain things happening this way and then this group of people remembers it this way. So that's basically what the theory is, if that makes sense. So there are several theories involved with this one theory and why a rip in time could have occurred or Mandela effects are a thing. And the first theory is quantum computers. So quantum computers have the ability to merge quantum states and entangle groups of particles. So in theory, quantum computers have infinite space, power, and pretty much infinite possibilities regarding computer functionalities and capabilities. So basically, when it comes to quantum computers, law of physics and particle theory are no longer relevant, which is really creepy to think about. That's a hefty machine right there. This is just water in my hydro. So I have a quote that I'm going to read from the article that I'm going to link down below. I would have tried to like paraphrase, but I just need to read it because it just is terrifying. As quantum computers interact with various states of atomic and subatomic particles within their spheres, they affect other particles within the realities of different dimensions. Some say this alone could change specific details surrounding specific events. In connection with quantum technology, a Canadian company, D-Wave Systems Incorporated, are scrutinizing or utilizing D-Wave quantum machines, which have the potential to have an extensive effect on matters throughout the universe. So, in short, D-Wave machines could simply create a Mandela effect. But this is all in theory, of course. Okay, now I'm gonna try this pasta. I'm so excited. This sauce is a cashew sauce, which is, I know it's not authentic, but I think it will still taste pretty good. And if I like it, I'll let you know. And the recipe's linked below and you can try it, so. Wow. That's good. Very peppery, but the sauce is very creamy. It's not the best white pasta that I've had before, but it's definitely delicious. It also gets better as you eat it. So the next theory has to do with CERN. So CERN is a nuclear research organization that was founded in 1954 in Europe. And their goal is to examine and explore the essential makeup of the universe, which, I mean, I was going to say, I don't know what that entails to make it, you know, suspicious, but I know what it entails because I did my research. Basically what they're doing is they're taking the most complex scientific instruments, what they call particle accelerators and detectors, and they're using them to study the particles in our universe and how they work. So, CERN, they have discovered what they call the God particle, aka Higgs boson, and this particle is said to have no electric charge, no color charge, and is said to be very insecure and unstable. It decays into other particles almost instantly. I found so much information on the God particle, and it's just insane. But basically, all you need to know is that it's extremely precarious and pretty much potentially detrimental. For example, without it, no particles would have mass, which means no stars, no planets, no us. We wouldn't exist without this God particle. That's just terrifying. And CERN also believes that if manipulated correctly, they could utilize microscopic black holes to open up or create an alternate dimension due to the magnetic draw that black holes produce, because not even time can escape a black hole. So they could potentially use black holes to reveal alternate dimensions. So I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I can grasp the basic understanding of it, but like deep diving into the science behind it, I don't really got a clue. But I mean, scientists don't really fully understand either. So like, they don't know what they're doing, and I don't think they should be messing around with the particles in our universe. And because scientists don't have a full understanding of what they're doing, they could potentially be creating rips in time and they don't even know it. And this is kind of a side note, but CERN, their symbol, I'm going to pop a picture of it on the screen. You can't tell me that that's not a 666. It looks so blatantly obvious. But I don't know, that's probably just a coincidence or something. So, like I said, scientists, they don't fully know what they're doing when it comes to our universe. So, CERN, their scientists may claim to know what they're doing, and they may claim to have moral objectives, but they're still manipulating fundamental components of our universe without having a complete comprehension of what they're doing. So, that's just very dangerous in itself. So this next theory, I'm going to kind of jump into the less scientific side of things, and that is that wormholes are being used to time travel. Wormholes are said to be bridges through space-time, which means that we would have the ability to travel into the past or future. Now, we don't know how to build wormholes, so we don't have the ability to do this. However, this theory also involves the fact that aliens are building wormholes and creating additional space-time loops, which could be affecting our reality. I mean, it would make sense because aliens are supposedly more advanced than we are, giving them the ability to create wormholes and who knows what else, you know? So, this is just a theory I discovered upon my research. Do I believe it? It could be a possibility, but I honestly don't think this is the reason behind Mandela effects. It could be possible, but I don't know. My reason being that this last theory is the theory that I believe is the most accurate. And that is that Mandela effects are all psychological. I've mentioned this before in my previous mukbangs, but I'm gonna kind of explain why I think this is the reason why we're going crazy about Mandela effects and believing that they're true. So there's so much in our world today, and though our brains are remarkable, they may no longer have the ability to grasp or even garner every single detail or aspect that we take in on a daily basis. But it doesn't help that when we forget things, we panic, and then we try to reconnect these things in our already burdened brains, which then leads us to remember things incorrectly because we're putting things together, trying to fill the gaps in our memory with things we may believe is true when it's actually not, especially when power of suggestion lends a hand. For example, if I were to ask you, do you remember seeing Bugs Bunny at Disneyland? Like, did you go take a picture with him last time you went? You may say, maybe, I don't know. Well, what if I told you that if you said yes, you remember seeing him, that you would be wrong? Because Bugs Bunny is not a Disney character. I don't know if this worked or not. I actually learned that example in my psychology class in college, and when I first heard it, I was like, oh, I don't think I ever saw Bugs Bunny. Oh, I should have looked out for him. Because it was suggested to me that Bugs Bunny, oh no, yeah, he is at Disneyland. But I wasn't told he was. I just inferred that he was based on the way that the sentence was worded. I thought that he was a Disney character just based on the inference. But he's not even a Disney character. And that is an example of how power of suggestion can be so powerful. Essentially, our brains can easily be influenced into believing things incorrectly, and it is so common nowadays. It's crucial to recognize that our brains are continuously, perpetually evaluating and formulating ideas and memories to make sense of every little thing. Furthermore, with the substantial increase of social media use throughout the years, it's nearly impossible for our brains to keep up. I will get into that in a little bit. I just need to take a few more bites. So with the constant use of social media on a daily basis, our brains are constantly stimulated, leaving our neurons firing all day, in turn altering the neurological structure of our brains. So research has actually shown that consistent social media use is actually changing our brains in 3 key areas. The first is attention capacity. So it's harder for us to focus for long periods of time. The second is social and emotional response. So we can't formulate emotional responses and social you see it here, folks. Social responses adequately because our brains just aren't working like they used to. And the last one, memory and information processing. So struggling with remembering things correctly and processing things correctly. What does that sound like? Mandela effect. Just saying. So the potential that it is simply just our brains creating these Mandela effects is highly probable. So it's not a stretch that with the incessant use of social media and the reorienting of our brains, it is possible that we have subconsciously mistaken events in our past, thus creating Mandela effects. Even if it was simply just a misprint or a few off-brand productions of items, like for example with the Berenstain Bears, there could have been a misprint on a mass production of their products that got sent out, and so a lot of people have a Berenstain Bear book when in actuality it is Berenstain. And it could have been something that happened in the past, and so maybe our parents remember it being Berenstain and they've just read it to us and taught it to us to be Berenstain when it's actually Berenstain. Or for example, Pikachu, I talked about this one in one of my other videos, but Pikachu's tail, there's no stripe on it. There's like no black line on it. It's all yellow. It could have been possible that there were a few off-brand Pikachus made that had a stripe on the tail, and maybe you bought that when you were a kid or your parent bought it for you, and you now have been raised with the stuffed animal that had the stripe on the tail, and so you just remember Pikachu having a stripe on his tail when he, or a black tip on the end, I think that's what it is, and that's what you remember when that's not really how it is. So I hope that makes sense. It's just the most logical. That doesn't mean that I don't want to entertain the idea that Mandela effects are created by CERN, or that there are aliens out there doing these crazy wormhole experiments and creating alternate realities. But when it comes to the internet, facts get mistaken with fiction, and then those distorted facts are spread and society believes them. Social media, you hear one thing and then that thing spreads and morphs as it spreads, and then the end product is completely different as how it started out. So that is easily how Mandela effects could have occurred. So that's pretty much the end of this video, or this conspiracy. I really do just believe that it's psychological, because I mean, I personally have had so many experiences where I have mistaken things in the past. For example, when I was younger, my sisters and I shared a room. When we first moved to China, if you don't know, I used to live in China. And when we first moved there, my dad, because he had already moved there previously and he had got an apartment, and he bought us slippers and desks and toys. And we each got this Power Ranger, like, toy, this little figurine. For years, I thought that mine was the green one. I just believed that because there was one green one and then two red ones. And I always thought that I had the one green one. I thought that my other two sisters got the two red ones and I was the odd man out with the green toy. And for years and years and years, I told myself that's how it was. But then we looked back at pictures. Lo and behold, it was Maylee's. It was not mine. I had a red one. So that in itself is just a small example of how our brains are so highly influenced. We tell our brains and persist to influence our brains that it's one way, when in reality it never was. We just believed it so badly that it became truth to us. So I just think that that's the most logical. And like I said, I still love to entertain the idea, and I'm not saying that the rest of the theories are just garbage, because no, I believe that those other theories could be a potential, but this one's just, like I said, the most logical to me. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this mukbang. I definitely did, and this food was so delicious. Oh my goodness. I have a lot of conspiracy and true crime videos planned for the future, and I'm still on my research kick, so if you guys have any recommendations of true crime or conspiracy theories that you want to see, let me know, and I will try to get those ones done. Ah. Okay, this is gonna be my last bite because it's the end of the video and I'm pretty full, so. Alright you guys, that is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the conspiracy. Let me know, like I said, what true crime and conspiracy theories that you want to see, and I will hopefully get to those in a future video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!